your tea. Okay, hello. Thank you for tuning in with Tea Time with Ki. I have a wonderful guest with us today. Her name is Miss Anyka Williams.
Hello.
Yes,
it's my cousin.
Okay, somewhere down the line. You never know these days. You never know. And she also has a wonderful organization called
Girl Squad.
Girl Squad. I was about to say her story. Baddest girl I was. But at least you know I be looking. I know some stuff. I know what's going on. And you said it's called Girl Squad. So tell the people a little bit about Girl Squad.
She's your queen to be, a queen to be forever, a queen who'll do whatever His Highness desires. She
So Girl Squad I started about last year. It's a mentoring program that I started to help girls ages 11 and up just become better leaders, business owners, innovators, just the best versions of themselves that they can be, and giving them that time to have some, one-on-one time from an older person, some older perspective, something that I wish I had a little bit more of in middle school, because I wasn't crazy or nothing, but I could have used a lot more guidance in middle school. So I definitely wanted to start something like that. So,
well, I'm very proud because you were pretty quiet in middle school for what I knew. I mean, well, not quiet, but you stayed out of the way most of what I know.
I still be chilling,
but you was chilling, So to see that you did this, I'm very proud because to me that's like stepping out on so much and really doing a lot. I commend you. That's queen material, and that is a wonderful thing to the community as well as to females, like you said, to know that to have something like that when you were younger. Right. I know when I was growing up, I had purity class at church, so that did help me in a sense for a good little while, but in the same instance I think something at school would have helped as well. Exactly. Definitely.
Well, at least we had a little bit of sex education classes.
Yeah, and see, they ended that in middle school, and that's crazy too. Remember I did my senior project on that, on sex education. Right. But they took it out. I didn't even know they took it out. That's new news to me right now. Some of
crazy. And I work with 7th graders, and they need it. So.
Yeah, they do. I mean, even when I was at the high school subbing, and one of the guys, he wanted to leave class to go get tested because the other guys, they were clowning him about, I guess he had slept with one of the school thoughts. Ooh. And so
I hear this language in middle school too, believe it or not.
So they was like, oh boy, you better make sure you ain't got nothing. And I'm like, so you think that you could go find this out right now? Right. Okay. Well, interesting. But outside of that, we'll be discussing this book called Eloquent Rage.
Yes.
And it is by Miss Britney Cooper. And please tell us what we will be discussing out of here today.
So I just really started this book, and she's actually a doctor, and she's a black feminist as well, and she's talking about discovering your superpowers and how to control the rage that you have from certain things, and especially in society today, especially as black women. Somebody told her like, yo, you have like an eloquent rage about you, and she was like, I always just thought about it as being passionate, like when we get passionate, people like, y'all loud, you just like to be loud, you like to be ghetto and all this stuff. And she was like, I never thought about it as that. So the title actually is what caught me, because I was like, eloquent with rage. Like, you would never think to put those two words together, because those two words just don't sound right together. Like, how can your rage be eloquent? So in this book, what she was talking about, what I read today, was she was talking about how she grew up in an era where girls were proclaiming to like have associates instead of friends. Like they're like, you know, when we was in high school, people would be like, you know, I don't really got a lot of girlfriends, you know, them my associates or whatever. Like we used to say that all the time, like, girl, that's my associate. They be like, you know, such and such. Yeah, I know her, but we associates, you know. I don't know her, but you know.
Yeah, I still say that today. Gladly. I'm like, somebody goes, I'm like, yeah, I know of her. I don't know her, but I know of her. Because I definitely want to put that, because I be like, I don't really know this person as a person, and I don't know what else you got to say after this part of the conversation.
So I just want to make my disclaimer.
No, I don't know them. I just know of them.
I know of them.
There's a difference.
So she was just talking about how we take that rage and how it's funny how, you know, black mothers and aunties and, you know, people that are above you are embedding this in their black sons. And it's crazy. If you think about it, it's kind of true that and we have had that embedded in us, and we never thought about it. We just think it's like something that you just talk about.
And I just did it the other day.
Exactly. So I just thought about like, oh, let me check myself. Wait, whoa. And then she was like, you know, you embed that in your sons and your nephews and stuff like that, and it makes them think that all girls are no good, and you can't trust any girls because of their distrust for women, and then we create that distrust amongst ourselves. So I was like, dang, that's some deep stuff. Like we are pushing that, and that's because that's what we've been taught, and we never thought about it. I never thought about that.
Right. So, and I feel like even if it's not a direct lesson that you get from home, it's somewhere you're going to hear stuff like that, and that's definitely the truth, because I didn't really have issues with other females until it was at school, like for whatever the case may be, you know, or even the things that I would pick up on things that I was doing, it was from being around these people at school, or either at a Boys and Girls Club, or whatever extracurricular activity that I was doing. Even some of the people I hung with at church, like, I mean, it's cliques in the church.
And you get caught up in it. It's very easy to get caught up in the cliques. Like, you just like, oh, that's my family, that's my homegirl. Like, they don't mean no harm. And then what you're doing is pushing that, you know, on somebody else and having that. And I think my attitude towards women, because my attitude now is totally 360. Like, my attitude is so different than what it was in high school. Middle school, I really didn't understand the female relationship as far as being friends and how, you know, a real friend was until maybe I got like to 8th grade and I met my best friend. So that's when I started to understand, you know, what it was. Like, I had friendships before that, and we were like really close, but to actually understand how somebody is inside and out and still be like, I'm gonna still be your friend. You making me mad, you piss me off every other week, but I'm gonna still be there for you, and I'm gonna still love you. Like, to have that love for somebody, I didn't really realize that. So it's just crazy. Like, I was like 360, and then you get with your friends and you like, yeah, girl, we don't like her. Like, she was doing such and such. Like, it's very easy to get caught up in that. And so when I got to college, like when I went to, you know, college, I was totally different. Like, my interactions with women were in a confrontational way. Like, I was the one, like, I was with the crew. It was like, if you want problems, you can have problems. If y'all want smoke, like, that's just how I was. I was, like, real mean and rude with it because I didn't trust females.
And I was that way, too. A lot of the females from NC State can gladly tell you. But now I have friendships with some of them. But I was definitely that person. Not so much as starting stuff where, you know, want smoke. But I did semi have that demeanor. Because most of the time, I was by myself. Like, I do be around people, but really I be by myself. And I did have that attitude, and I let females know, no new friends. So that song was out. Girl, they'll tell you, I know I got on y'all nerves.
Drake
I know
get you caught
did.
up.
Drake will get you caught up like,
every
on
time.
that ego every time. I was like, no new friends, no new friends.
Right.
Like, no, I was like, I still got my friends from back home. Right. Yeah, we could be cool.
And it's like you feel like you betraying them, like your friendships with them. And now that I'm older, I'm like, it ain't no such thing. Because if we friends, we friends. But back then, like, I didn't think like that. I just thought totally different than what I think now. And I was just more it wasn't until like my sophomore year that I was willing to step out of my comfort zone. And the reason I acted like that was because it was a defense. Right. It was a wall put up, and that was because of when I was younger, and being a younger person and being on the heavier side, like mostly all my life, you know, being picked on and bullied by girls mainly, like, and those girls getting other people and the boys involved in it, like, really made me have this distrust, and I didn't realize it until now, like, not too long ago, like, yo, that was why I was acting the way I was acting, is because I was afraid, because people would so many times fool me or trick me into thinking that they wanted to be cool with me. I remember one time these girls, and I just don't know why it just, but you know, the little stick-on little tattoos, like, I remember, like, I went to a daycare and we had one of those, and I didn't have none. Me and my friends were just chilling. But the girls, like the cool girls, the ones that would pick on me, they had, and they like, oh, come over here, we got one for you. And I got over there, like, because I was happy, like, yo, they want to be my friends.
Right.
Like, why they want to talk to me, and you being that young and naive, and you're not thinking about they're going to do something like that to you. So I get over there. And they rub it off like, we got you. You thought we were going to do such. So I was like hurt, like crying. Like I didn't show them, but I went home and I was crying. Like, and I think that was embedded in me for so long, that hatred. So when I got old enough and I started, talking more and coming out of my shell, because I was a lot more introverted than I am now when I was in high school and middle school.
She's not lying. This is, honestly, I'm looking at a whole new person. Is what y'all don't know. Keep going.
But I was a lot more introverted. It was because of that distrust for other females and just other people based on what happened to me. So if I didn't really know you, like, you weren't going to see that side of me that would be open and laughing and joking. Only my true close friends or, family members got to see that side of me. But now that I'm older and I can realize and admit that, like, yo, that's my issue. That's where my issue came from. It made me, and it sparked something in me, like, yo, I have to change that. Like, starting from what these little girls that I work with, like, you got to change that because their attitudes are from their family. Like, I was around one girl before, and she's like, my mama, when she goes somewhere, she fuss somebody out all the time and blah, blah, blah. And so she took on that attitude and thinking that's cute. And I'm like, yo, like, that is not it. But you don't realize so much stuff is embedded in you from your family and your, it's generational stuff.
I've learned that with a lot of things too. Yeah, but you gotta take that initiative, like, to really dig, like, healing and you're gonna be healing basically all your life is how I feel. If you are overcoming different things, because it's a mental change, like you said, like you are reverting into a new and a better person. Like, you always want to be a better person. That, at least that's what you should want to and strive to be. Is a better person. And taking the blindness off of yourself, you have to go through your history, like at home, at school, grandma, granddaddy, aunts, uncles, like the whole 9 yards. Like, you gotta just spill it out, because you will find those patterns, and it's like you will find some things, and it's like, I didn't even think about that. I didn't realize that.
I look at my mama and grandma, I'm like, dang, I am like y'all, and I didn't even realize. And your mama would get on your nerves, and I know why now.
Why? Yeah.
It's because I'm so much like her that it's easy for somebody that you're so much like. I found out now, being older, the things that irk us about other people are the things that are deeply hidden in us that we have not dealt with. So for them to live their truth out loud like that, it makes us mad. Like, how dare you live that out loud? But deep inside of you, you like, yo, I kind of wish I could be kind of like that, or I got that side of me and I just don't want to show it because of different things being done and said about it. So, man, look,
it's the truth. I'm telling you, but it's the truth. Like you say, I know about myself. I wasn't always liked either, and I didn't always know. And like the way that my thing would be, I would sometimes be friends with these people. We'd be friends for a good little bit, and then somewhere out of nowhere, they just don't like me, and I'm like, well, Dad, what I do this week? Like, it was just close. Like, I remember back in 5th grade, something like that happened. I remember back in 7th grade, something like that happened. And it was like about the whole girls at one lunch table. They was not talking to me, and I'm like,
that'd be the most hurtful thing in middle school. You be like, don't nobody want to be my friend.
Don't want to talk to me.
What I do? You be trying to act like you don't care, but you really care.
You know, at that time. And I was just so thankful for my best friend. She was like, don't be worried about them, whatever the case is. And even now, just seeing a whole lot of females in a new light, especially in college, it was like you said, I came with this attitude and this defense mechanism, because that's exactly what it is. And some of the other females, they had it too. And since I started at NC State, that's what it was I was going to talk about. I started at NC State, so it was a smaller black community within the big PWI. So everybody in that black community, 9 out of 10, knew each other. Right. It's but so many of us. However, you would think that we would have been trying to be close-knit and actually, respect each other, be cool. Not all the time. Not all the time. Not all the time. It it didn't work, and for whatever reason, you know, of course you had people who were Greek, and then you had those who were not. You had those who were not, who were cool with some of the Greeks, and some of the Greeks, they were not cool with some of the people that those were not. And, you know, and it wasn't because they were Greek, but it was just these people, you know, they just didn't matter, they didn't care, blah, blah, and vice versa. So you always had those things going, and it's like, I remember seeing posts on Twitter, because I think Twitter was definitely popping back then. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I used to always see, and used to, like, I would sometimes agree, and then other times I was a little confused, it would be like, now I'm the only black student in this class, why is it that you black and you come in and sit next to me? And like I said, it confused me sometimes, because it's like, okay, well, I could possibly see where you're coming from, but at the same time, why is it hurting you that much? And all these other people around you don't look like you. Right. Why not have somebody that looks
why can't
I sit by you? So then it switched up once I got to a HBCU. And this is all that I see.
And now at HBCU.
And now that I'm at HBCU, this is all that I see.
Yeah.
But yet, it's still kind of like, why you came and sit next to me? Yeah. Honey, what do you expect? You know, or even like, it's all these
it's so
facades. There's so many facades, and like females, they feel like it's a competition all the time. Yeah. And I'm like, no, I don't have the time or the energy. And especially in the theater world, I'm going to talk about some of them. That's fine. Yeah, I don't care. Because that was another thing that really brought me to it, to realize.
And I think it's because the society makes it seem like only one of us can make it all the time.
And that's not
people
the case.
Keep going back and forth, and
it's not the
it's
case.
Not true. It's a myth that we've had embedded in our minds for so long that we just out here going at each other's necks, and that's what I never liked about, you know, certain things. And I was happy, you know, I got pushed out of my comfort zone. It was actually my homegirls when I went to Fayetteville State, you know, my sophomore year. They were like, you know, we seen some things that we think that would be great for you, and then I started stepping out, and I was like, once I started stepping out, this is not so bad. Like, I don't have to be scared or nervous about this because of what happened to me in the past. Right. You know, and if it tends to happen again, I know now being older, it's because that person has self-hatred. Mm-hmm. So they're putting that on me. Yep. You know, I didn't know that back then. They was just hurting.
Didn't know that back then, and those are your own insecurities that they try to push onto you. And it's like, you know, nah, that ain't even got nothing to do with me. And I think once you get that nugget in your head, nothing can stop you. It's like, girl, bye. Yeah. Like, I don't even have the energy, because what you're dealing with, what you're trying to push on me, that's what you're dealing with yourself, and you don't know how to exactly deal with it. I wish that a whole lot of females would get to that mindset to where they know, I'm not another female's competition. Regardless of race, color, creed, whoever, it does not matter. No female, let alone especially in the black community, like, we are definitely supposed to be sisters. Right. You know, now granted, even back in the day, they weren't always friends either, but still they had a lot more unity than we do now. Yeah. And I feel, and that's just with us, black, period. But that's a whole
even
other conversation.
Even in the black, you know, black sororities, because I'm in a sorority, you know, a part of Alpha Kappa Alpha, like, even in that, like, sometimes we have to break down barriers and some people might get mad I'm saying this, I don't care, oh well, but, you know, we have to break down those barriers of, just because you're something else outside of what I am, you know, we gotta go at each other, or because this is the history of people going at each other, we gotta keep that going. And I'm not the one to do that. Like, I'm not one of the ones that you gonna find, you know, that they be like, oh, AKA stuck up, blah, blah, blah. I'm probably the most down to earth one you gonna meet. Mm-hmm. But that's because of who I am as a person. Like, that has nothing to do with, you know, that sorority or anything like that. But it just really makes me mad seeing that in our sororities, because when those were originally founded, our founders were founding those because we didn't have anywhere to go. Like, we didn't have anybody that wanted us to be a part of theirs because of our skin color. So those things were founded so we could come together and have that camaraderie with each other and go out in the community and help uplift. So it just, you know, now, and I'm pretty sure they had fights and stuff with each other back then, but it's like so much and so hard. I don't know if anybody knows about Willie Lynch letter, but that Willie Lynch letter, like, I read it and I was like, whoa, like, this stuff is still going on.
I think that was about 2012. Yeah, I think about 2012, 2013.
I was mind blown.
I was somebody told, I was like, whoa, and I was like, this really makes sense. If you haven't read the Willie Lynch letter, we'll give you a little synopsis about it, but go look it up.
I'll take the affirmative. Take the meanest, most restless nigga strip him of his clothes in front of the remaining male niggers, female niggers, and nigger infants. Tar and feather him. Tie each leg to a horse facing in opposite direction, set him on fire, and beat both horses until they tear him apart in front of the male, female, and nigger infants. Bullwhip and beat the remaining nigger males within an inch of their life. Do not kill them, but put the fear of God in them, for they can be useful for future breeding. Anybody know who Willie Lynch was? Anybody? Raise your hand. No one? He was a vicious slave owner in the West Indies. The slave masters in the colony of Virginia were having trouble controlling their slaves, so they sent for Mr. Lynch to teach them his methods. The word lynching came from his last name. His methods were very simple, but they were diabolical. Keep the slave physically strong, but psychologically weak and dependent on the slave master. Keep the body, take the mind. I and every other professor on this campus are here to help you to find, take back, and keep your righteous mind. Because obviously you have lost it.
There was this white male, he was a slave owner, and he basically told the people, all the slave owners, he wrote this letter on how to control the slaves for the next 300 plus years. And honestly, we are still serving under the Willie Lynch letter. He went to segregate us in various groups within our own race by age, the young against the old. We are definitely living in that right now.
Yeah.
Like,
nobody has respect for the elders, and I'm like, yo, what is going on? Because my kids, I have to tell them, like, that's not the way we go about it, and that's what they're used to in their houses. They're like, it don't matter who you are, adult,
because
kid,
a lot of them, they don't even have grandparents.
Yeah,
like,
or the grandparents is young, or even not even putting it on that. It's just the way that things, because older people got treated away. So when they had kids, their kids are like, I ain't treat my kids like that. So then people start shying away from that respect and respecting their elders, and it takes a community, and everybody has stepped away from that community because I love that
I don't
quote.
want you to do nothing with my kids.
You can't even tell nobody kids nothing no more. Like, you'll be like, girl, your shoes on wrong, you need to turn out. Why you talking to my kid? All right, ma'am, you got it. And then it just makes you not even want to help. And that's the sad thing, because we got to help each other. We've been put on this earth. God put us on this earth for a reason, to help each other. We're community. That's the only way you can survive is in community. And people have backed away from that. And it really hurts me to see younger people talking to older people like with no respect.
None.
Like, with no respect.
None.
Like, what?
And I remember like just the little piece of disrespect that my mama or my aunts ever thought, and that was just not saying ma'am after my yes or no. Like, but these people, they cussing out their parents,
cussing in front of them, fighting their parents, and it's just like, why? Like, I could never see myself, mom, about to square up with you. Like, I'm about to punch you. Even thinking about
I couldn't dare that thought to cross my mind.
She might have made me mad. I might have went in my room like, ooh, she get on my nerves.
Like, ooh. But
I bet I ain't say nothing when she was like, what you say?
Nothing. I ain't even gonna do nothing.
I bet I did.
No.
Ooh, I remember one time I closed the door in my mama's face, and I didn't know she was behind me. I bet that was the last time I closed the door in her house. Like, but these kids don't have that, and it's crazy. And like you said, what he did is what we're doing now. Like, they were talking about us like we were animals, like how to brand us, how to get us to, mother and child, like just all these things, and just to keep us divided, you gotta split us up and divide us. You gotta divide the household, because
and that's even down with the whole
parents, like
Section 8 thing where the male can't live in the house, the school to prison pipeline, all of that stuff is under that letter. The light skin versus dark skin,
colorism,
colorism. We still living in that. As much as social media try to put us dark skins out there, honey, no, some people, they still don't really care for us, or they try to say that other ones aren't as pretty and all this other stuff. It's crazy. It's just completely crazy, insane, if I must say so myself. So also keeping us in bondage, like even though we're not in slavery anymore, we're still in slavery.
Even
and
these chains, like these chains the rappers are wearing, or we be trying to kill ourselves trying to get, like those are still chains. Like they used to have our ancestors in chains.
Yeah.
All we are now is jewelry. Like you want to get jewelry.
Yeah.
It's mental. Like it's what's the first thing you see when somebody makes it? They want to go get a chain or a house because they never had it. So when they get money, they don't know what to do with it because nobody ever taught us to invest.
Yes.
Nobody ever taught us how to do these things because it was meant to keep us in place and in line. Like. So for those of us that are trying to find that, it's hard. Like it's definitely
And then
hard.
sometimes people, they want to try to mock you because you actually trying to do something right, and it's just like, what type of mentality do y'all have? Do you want to get out of the rut, or do you want to stay there?
Right.
Because you still have to have a mindset and the attitude to go get it, like to get up out of there. And like what I hear from a lot of people from the old school, like my mama them age. Because my mom and them, they did grow up in the projects, part of their childhood. But what a lot of them say is the hood was never meant for you to stay there. It was temporary. It was temporary. And, like, it's so many people, some of them, like, they do not want to give up the hood for nothing. Like, they live by it, they going to die by it, and that's it. And that's not... That's not the dream. That's not what we are made of, and especially because we were royalty before they even brought us over here.
Exactly.
And like even the thing with the whole Kanye situation when he had said, as far as about the slavery thing, what ticked me off, I was like, well, we still in slavery now. We ain't did nothing. I mean, like we could have been overthrew the government or whatever the case may be, and we still have done nothing. So much is going on, and what are we as Americans doing about it? We tweet about it, we post about it, watch the news. Oh, this is going on, and we're not doing hardly anything, you know. So that's where I see we the same way. If that's what you want to make about them, and they actually did things like there's no way that you could disrespect or discredit them like some of them did not put forth.
And
effort.
see, there are revolutionaries out there like you and I and others of us, but there are so many people out here doing other stuff that it makes it harder for us. Not impossible. I ain't saying impossible. It's never impossible, but it's gonna take us banding together and making sure that we first start with this because it's all a mind thing. And I was talking to a good friend of mine like, yo, it's going to take more than just us saying we holding arms and we come together like Martin Luther King and all of them. It's gonna take us handling what's in us, what has been embedded in us, and breaking those systems that have been put into us and placed into us before we can all get it on the same level, the same page of even coming together and holding arms and being like we're together. Like I first got to get myself together. Not saying we can't do those things at the same time, but it's going to take, like you said, an active effort to do that. You have to know that I have a problem. This is not right. And people are out here now, they don't think what they're doing is wrong, or they're to the point where they're like, oh, nobody don't need to say nothing to me, you know, whatever. And then it's like, you can't say nothing to nobody without them feeling like you're coming. This is the most sensitive generation ever. Like, it's the most sensitive generation. Like, you can't even tell nobody they got on the wrong color. Everybody want to attack you and be on your page and trying to get your page shut down. Be like, okay, y'all need to chill out. Like, it's not that serious.
It's really not. And so, it's I don't know, and I don't know what it'll take to not be so personal, because I think that's another issue where it's a kind of like two-sided issue with the whole age thing. Like, because you do have some people in the older generation who are like, they want to talk to some of the younger generation, but the younger generation doesn't want to listen.
Want to receive them.
But then you also have some of the older generation that's like, no, I ain't gonna say nothing to them. Let it just fall on the face, you know, just little stuff like that. Right. But I had and still have people who they did, you know, they still, I'm not gonna say that they chased after me, but they still embedded stuff in me, even though they felt like I wasn't listening. I was listening, I just wasn't doing it as you wanted me to do at that time. But I was listening. And it's like, I still feel like certain ones you still have to just go after, you know. And I'm not saying that the older generation that you are responsible for, it's not your, I'm not going to say it's your responsibility. I will never say that, because I'm sure that they are still dealing with things. And I think that's another thing too, is that with our generation, we have been dealing with things from them, but we're able to bring it to the light and we want to talk about it. They're still not ready to talk about it.
There's so many traumatic things that I could never imagine having to go through, you know, being raped or and not being able to do nothing, and seeing my wife, or if I was a man, seeing my wife, you know, being raped or called at, and I could do nothing about it as a black man. Like, I can imagine how that broke somebody down, and still does to this day, because it goes down today. And then us as women being sexualized and then feeling like we have no protection. even from our own men, and that's because of what has been done in the past. Everybody has been programmed to, you know, to believe in those things that we believe in, and it's generational stuff. So some of us are first-time generation, you know, generational to go to college or to break certain stigmas in our families, and it's not easy. Like, it's not easy at all, but it must be done. So, I just want us to continue to go forth. Like you said, there are ones out here, and especially my kids that I work with, because every time I tell somebody I'm a middle school teacher, they're like, what? Oh my God. It's like, God bless you. And I just be like,
but them kids, they in between.
Yeah,
I want to be
they're
a
in
baby.
between. And they want to be grown. Same as what we wanted. We wanted to be grown. We wanted to be out here like, girl, I'm cute, whatever. You know, we want to do the same thing. So I always just think about when I was growing up, whenever I have those tough days with them, I'm just like, but I wish I had somebody like me. So they hear me, and I might just be, what I think about it now is like, I'm a gardener, and they're going to be my seeds that I plant. So I plant them, and I water them, and I watch them, you know, I get to see them start to bloom, but sometimes I don't always get to see them grow because they get older, and it doesn't happen until they get older. But I always have to remember, like, yo, you're the one that plants them, and you have to water them and talk to them and give them sunlight and bring sunshine, because the 7th grade is right in the middle. It is. And I teach 7th grade, so they're right in the middle. So I don't always get to see them grow until the next year. When somebody else gets them, they're like, you did a good job. And I'm like, well, I couldn't tell because they was giving me, oh my God.
You're right, though, because I was a totally different person 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Yeah. Like,
so crazy. It takes dedicated people to put that time into you. It's frustrating. It's the most frustrating thing being a teacher, y'all. Y'all just don't understand. Like, it is just the most frustrating thing.
As a sub, I've seen enough, so I know as a full-time teacher.
Every day. We're probably one of the one professions that don't even get a break except for when it's a holiday. Like, we got to take a day off, which is crazy to me because we got to deal with so much. And we work like 40 hours plus because the work day doesn't stop just because school is over. Like, you doing after school activities, you doing lesson plans, you trying to find stuff. Lord, I'm about to flip the book over. Look at that. Rage.
Eloquent rage.
You just trying to do other stuff, but I just realized, you know, with this, like, I think I was one that had eloquent rage because, you know, it's not that I wasn't as outspoken in high school. It was just that I had an eloquent rage. So I was the one that I would say stuff, but you just wouldn't know unless you were around me. Right. I kind of was the one that had the mouth out of my group, believe it or not. And I got my friends in trouble. People wouldn't like them because of me, but I digress. We're grown now. We're all cool. But, you know, my best friend, we talk about it all the time. Like, she's like, yo, you always got us in trouble with your mouth. Like, you always got us in trouble. Like, oh my God. So it's nothing new for me to be, you know, talking, but it's just in a open forum that I'm not afraid to talk, because when I became a teacher, when I was younger, I was always so reserved, and it's not that I didn't want to talk to people. I'm just an observer. Before I talk to you, I need to look at you and size you up and see who you are and see whether or not I want my energy around that, because I'm a person that goes off energy. Me too. So my cousin's like, you a teacher? What? Quiet, Nika? You a teacher? I can't believe that. And I was like, girl, little do you know, I'm not quiet.
Okay. My cousins were very surprised about me too. And somebody else that they knew me when I was younger, and they was like, yes, I mean, just antisocial and so quiet. I didn't want nobody to hold her.
You be like, little do you know.
Little do you know. And then I was like, dang, I said, well, I guess I ain't changed too much, because I'm selectively social. I won't lie. Yeah. I'm very selective, but you have to be, because like you say, protect your energy. And that's another thing, protect your energy. And when you feel like people just are not right, 9 out of 10, they're usually not. And you can usually tell within the first few minutes of a conversation. Yeah. And that's like, especially some people that I've been coming in contact with here lately, is like, okay, I got to see what is it that you're about. And I'm usually right. Most of the time, I'm usually right. 9 times out of 10, I'm right. And it's like that. If something ends up going down, but you just have to be protective of that. And everybody cannot be your friend. And my mother used to tell me that all the time.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong. You can't have, everybody is not going to be your friend. Everybody's not going to like you. You're not going to like everybody. Everybody's not going to be your friend. You have
to learn how to let go. And that's what I'm learning how to do. But I'm also making sure that, you know, what I'm doing, because we have our plan and then God has his plan. Yeah. So, you know, like I was telling one of my best friends today, she's like, I'm gonna stop doing something because, you know, she's in a kind of like a pageant. She's running for some a position. So
Right.
you know, some things have been said. Some people have said stuff and made her upset. So she's like, I kind of don't want to do this and fall back. But me knowing her, I'm like, make sure that's not your plan. Make sure if that's what you're gonna do, that's God's plan. Because
Right.
I told her what happens is we remove ourselves sometimes from situations and people that God never told us to remove ourselves
You
from.
better speak
Because
that.
we just be like, yo, I don't really, nah. And it's because of how you feeling at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's another problem with this generation is nobody wants to work through things and nobody wants to take the time to get to know people and work through stuff and take that process. But they're looking at our older generation like, how are y'all together
y'all
50
get-
plus years?
They went through
And
some
they
stuff.
went through some stuff. Like, your
I ain't
grandma
saying
and your
that don't mean
granddaddy.
that you had to just let somebody keep cheating or beating on you.
Exactly.
That is not what we're promoting.
No,
because
not at all, not
that's
at
not
all.
what we're promoting. Because I also saw that Jada Pinkett Smith video
Yeah.
the other day, and where she was talking about love and devastation. That's not what she's talking about.
Yeah. But
That's
this
not
is
it.
going to
But
go
this-
over some people's
This
minds.
gonna go over some people's
just
head,
like that did.
you know. But yeah,
it's to be expected. Everybody's not going to get where we're coming from because everybody's not on that level.
No.
So I realize that. But for the people that's
But
on
for
our
the people
level,
that do.
that's who we're talking to. But, you know, just making sure that you're not removing yourself from a situation that was meant to teach you a lesson or
Right.
meant to make you better.
Mhm.
You know,
or even make that other person better.
exactly. So sometimes we walk away before we get a lesson, and then we keep going through it with other people
Cycles.
because we never dealt with it. And I'm like, yo,
That's how you get
all
that
right, God,
lesson
I hear
repeated.
you.
I hear you.
I hear you. I hear
got it.
you.
Okay, I
So
didn't
I'm
learn
going
the
through the
last time.
some of the same stuff because I didn't take it the first time. It's like when your teacher gives you some information, you know, when you're in school and an adult gives you some advice, you don't take it because you're like, man, y'all don't know what y'all talking about.
Right.
It's the same
It's the
thing, and then
same
you
thing.
end up going through the same things because you didn't listen to what
you
he
didn't
said the
listen.
first time. And I'm talking to myself right now. So
Me too. She don't even know how much she talking to me, how much she done confirmed
talking
with
to
other conversations
myself.
I've had with myself this week. And
Yeah.
God, yes, continue.
But just making sure that we, in this generation, we got to slow down. We're a
Yeah.
fast microwave paced generation, and we don't want to take our time to go
No.
through the process of anything because the process hurts. The process hurts. That's a word right there in itself. You know, I ain't come on here to do no preaching, but I'm
Girl,
just saying,
go
like-
ahead. I ain't even got a collection plate for you. Jesus.
But you know, it takes time to do certain things. So if you're not where you're supposed to be, because that was one of my issues, like looking at, and even sometimes now I have to check myself, and God has to check me, like, yo, slow down.
Right.
I got you. I didn't forget my promise to you. And I'm like, you forgot me, but you forgot about me. And I'm looking at other people like,
Right.
what am I doing?
Right, when is my turn? When
But
I'm-
in another sense, it also makes me go harder because
Right.
I'm like, and I just hear those words. That's my motto. That's been my motto for the last year or so. Go harder. Like, go harder. Like,
yeah,
do
obviously
more.
it's not your time. Like, so that means
Exactly.
you gotta go hard
Until
it's
until
your
who
time.
much is given, much is
Much is
required. So
required.
that's my
Oh.
quote that goes with that. Go
Yeah.
harder. Like, if you're not where you want to be, go harder. Every resource that you need is on this earth. Everybody that you need is here. Everything you need, you just got to take a step back and slow it down and look
Yeah.
at what's around you. And I don't think we take the time to even sit back and look at what's around
I
us.
know I don't. I know just today
Yeah.
alone, it was something that I realized, and I was like, wow, I didn't even know that I had that resource, and I'm gonna definitely reach out to them. But yeah, it's like you really have to sit back and like realize and count your blessings. I'm gonna say that, and that's another thing that I've been living by the past few months. Is I forgot who it was that was talking about it, but feeding into your positivities and actually
Yes.
having a heart of gratitude over actually always talking about your negativity, the things that are going on in your life.
Ooh.
And it's like if that's what you're feeding, that's what's going to be big in your life. But if you feed the positive things, the positive things that are going right in your life, and things that you know that you cannot change, and really accepting the things that you cannot
You
change.
better be saying that serenity prayer, man.
That's
Woo!
serenity prayer, like, honey. And I've
I
been
gotta hit that a few times in
okay?
adulthood.
Like, been posting it, been saying it for years, but
Look,
really
didn't
this
get
year,
it until now. Like,
to really get it
Yeah.
and live through it on, like, you know what? I can't do nothing else about it. I'm sorry. I can't even give you the stress or the energy because it's not in my hands.
'Cause
there's really nothing I can't do.
even being a teacher, like, I have to know my bounds, and
Yeah.
I want to save everybody, but you can't.
But you can't.
You
And
can't
that's
save
another
everybody.
thing with
And
being
that-
a compassionate person.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
And it's hurtful. I
No,
think
you
that's the
can't
most
save
hurtful thing.
everybody.
Is you can't save everybody. You want to, but you can't save everybody. And we got to be all right with saying that's okay.
That's okay.
I'm not God, so
No.
I can't. Like, I can only do what I can do.
Yeah.
And that's that's point blank period. I learned that in my first year teaching. Like, I wanted to save so many girls, and I was looking like, yo, they need some guidance and some saviors, but everybody not ready to get saved. Like, don't save her. J. Cole said she don't want to be saved. So you can't save nobody. That don't mean they're not listening.
That don't mean they're not listening. And also, that goes with some people they really just have to go through. Yeah. Because one of my mentors, she told me and some of my other friends.
I'm one of those people. I'm stuck.
I was one of those people.
I'm one of those people.
She said, y'all ain't from the show me state. She said, but y'all from the show me state because y'all don't believe it till it's shown. And a lot of stuff in life, you really don't really get it and grasp it until you experience it. Right. And I'm not saying that everything you have to experience. And when I do say hands on, it sometimes it's not even directly at you that it's happening, but it will be happening around you within your circle. And it's like, whoa, some things you just have to pull back. You got to pull the reins on it. And it'll open up your eyes and you'll grow. Like, and it's definitely growth. Like, I've seen myself grow in the past few years, and I'm very proud. Like, I've seen myself go from a lot of changes, good, bad, but in spite of it all, I'm glad to continuously to grow. Yeah. Like,
and those knockdowns, I just look at it now as, it's for me, sometimes I get on my high horse and I get in my own, like, superpowers, like, yo, I'm above and I don't really need no help. And then God be like, I just want you to know. And so then I fall and I be in this state where I'm like, all right, I was wrong. I was wrong. And then you just get knocked down, and some people look at that as something that's detrimental and something that's bad, but it's really not. It's you can. The good thing about him is you can always do a reset. Yeah. You can always do a do-over. You can always try again. Thank you, God, for your grace and mercy, because
thankfully that you're not black man.
Because I would have been done a long time ago. But it just. One of the things I'm working on this year is I gave myself goals, and I don't really like to do a lot of like self-help books and read that because I'm like, I ain't really gonna look at that because I'm a show me person. Right. I'm a show me person. I feel like I have to go through my own process. So it's good that people write self-help books, but I just can't follow them because I'm like, that's not my story.
Yeah, see, like me with the self-help book, and I ain't even gonna say they really self-help because I've read like Ki-Eloquent. I don't know if you've read Jennifer Lewis. Her biography, Black Mother, Black Mother. It's amazing. I haven't finished it. I've been listening to it on Audible, and it's her reading it.
I need to get some Audibles because sometimes I get in these books and then I get busy with other stuff and then I put my books down.
Yeah,
I got so many books at my house.
Play it in the car, just play it, and I just sit there and I'm like, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I ain't gotta read this, and I'll rewind it if it's like, oh, I ain't know you said that.
I got so many books that I have not even read, and the crazy part is I'll go back to the bookstore and buy more because I just like having a book in my hand. Right. I know there's so many digital things, but I'm a person
I like actual books too.
I will always love a book. Like, there's just something about having a book in my hand. I can write in it. I'm just mad this is a library book. I can't write in it. You see, I got sticky notes.
She got sticky notes everywhere. I don't even know how long she been reading this.
I got
but it's sticky notes, honey. It's several of them. Like, she wrote on them
too.
I
was like, I'm a sticky note. I can't write
in it. She is getting it. She getting it. I gotta check this out.
But yeah, one of my goals for this year is to have different perspective. Perspective is my word because oftentimes I get so caught up in seeing the bad in things, and then I get in the depression mode, and then I get in a dark space, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, I want to be able to see good and in things, or to be able to say, you know what, let me step back from the drawing board and go at another angle, because it has to be something else. So perspective is really, really important when it comes to me growing and flourishing and getting right. And I know that I have to make sure I pour into myself before I pour into anybody else. Like, I can't give emptiness to people because then they're going to be empty.
You can't pour nothing from an empty cup.
Exactly. That's what she said. You hurt yourself because I hurt myself so many times being empty and being stubborn. So
yeah, it's not good and it's not healthy, and it hurts you in the long run because it's like, okay, I'm gonna just keep giving of myself, and you burnt out. You tired. You stressed.
The only one you can do that to is, oh God, I give you can do that. You can give yourself away to him. But as far as people, you're gonna be tired every time. You just gonna be tired and burnt out every time, and you got to know your limits.
Yeah,
I have to know my limits. Enough.
And especially if you are a person that's being an overachiever, or that you're hard on yourself already.
That's
myself.
Me. That's me.
I'm like,
I will beat myself up before anybody else.
Well, I know need a rest, but I really don't want to tell them no, because I don't want to feel like I'm a bad person. But honey, here lately, no, I'm sorry. I can't.
Yeah, I can't.
I can't.
And that's okay to say
it's
I
okay.
can't.
It's definitely okay.
Yeah.
Because people say, other people say it, it's fine with me. My rest some days, it really is more important. I'm sorry, but I have to rest to be able to give myself so much. And especially when you give yourself so much to so many different venues, your family, school, work, your extra business, your personal stuff that you have.
And don't let you be in a relationship or something. Then you got to give them.
I'm glad I'm out.
I'm single too, but I was in one.
But when I was, that's a lie. It's like just for now. But
it's
no more boyfriends, as that poet says. Yes, but make sure y'all check out Eloquent Rage by Miss Britney Cooper. Check out Girl Squad with Miss Anyka Williams.
Please,
and where do they need to follow you at on social media?
You can follow me on her underscore story. Lord, look at me stumbling over my name. But her story _ matters. I couldn't remember. My mind just went blank.
And that's what I was calling the group. And it's Girls.
All right, but we're gonna bring it back. All right, so y'all can follow me at her story _ matters, or you can follow me on Facebook at Anyka Williams, or you can follow the Girl Squad page on Facebook. Those are all the places. I was happy to be here today and come through and talk about these important. Look at that, earring, trying to roll out. But I had a good time.
I did. I definitely enjoyed this.
I will
You
definitely
have to come back.
Yeah.
Please. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, honestly. Like I said, I got to check this book out because I know it's more in here than what we even discussed. And from that page that I read from your post, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it goes
deeper. I know it does. I know it does. But it was very strong.
I gotta order this. I gotta support her. I gotta order.
Right, a black. And then it has under there a black feminist discovers her superpower. Like that's just amazing. Because I'm in the process of discovering other superpowers that I didn't know that I had, or that are now just becoming stronger. And it's like you just really have to build yourself up. Because one thing that I pray to God about is being bold in spirit and in truth. And that's just him. And it ain't even as far as being boisterous and loud, but it's really just being bold in everything that I stand on, everything that I believe.
Not letting nobody silence you.
Yeah, not letting nobody silence you. That's the main thing. Don't let nobody take your voice. Because a lot of people, they lose their voice in various ways. But don't let nobody take your voice. Also, follow me on Facebook at...
The struggle.
Follow me on Facebook at Tea Time with Ki, or on Instagram _Tea Time with Ki _ and that is TEATIMEWITHKI. There you go.
Yes.
Blessings. Always remember, protect your crown. Be blessed.
Yes.